Behold the horror beyond mortal perceptions. And welcome to Retrospective Rants, with me, Joey Huff, as your host. I've long been a fan of the works of H.P. Lovecraft, and yet I don't count his more famous works among my favorite stories. Indeed, among the tales of eldritch entities and hybrid fish monsters, my favorite story is the fictional personal account of a cursed submarine captain. My favorite Lovecraft story is The Temple. Now, this review will be light on spoilers, because even though the story is older than most rocks, it's also not talked about very much. So I'll give a basic overview and highlight a few aspects of The Temple that stand out for me. Our tale takes place at the height of the First World War. An Imperial German submarine discovers a strange artifact aboard a freshly defeated enemy. All of a sudden, strange occurrences befall the ship as the captain puzzles over the cause of an alien madness that is befalling his crew. And that's it. The captain recounts what happens to his submarine after they take a freaky-looking artifact aboard. It's pretty simple, but beautifully so, and laden with many details that you ought to read yourself. To be honest, I considered reading a passage from the story, but I'm not joking when I say that too many events, and indeed too many seemingly innocuous phrases, will paint a clearer scene of the action. Now, some more seasoned readers might believe that every Lovecraft story follows the exact same formula. Some dude encounters a spooky thing, will doubt the spooky thing, and then the spooky thing will cause havoc until the dude is crazy. Now, I would challenge that notion by saying that even though the formula may be a bit similar, the ingredients in every story, and in this particular story, are very different. In fact, if you're at least a passing history buff with some knowledge of World War I and the cultures of the time, this could be a fascinating character study. I personally find it to be a brilliant satire concerning Imperial German attitudes of the time, and I also find it to be a rather ironic piece of literature considering some of Lovecraft's more well-known views, and that makes me wonder at his thought process as he was writing this. And to me, that's always a good mark for a story, if it makes you wonder at the author's own thoughts. The actual guts of the story, the grammar, language, and sentence structure, are also typical Lovecraft. It's very lovingly crafted and fine prose that lavishes descriptive and provocative imagery on each page. That being said, there is a lot of it. If you dislike reading for reading's sake, or maybe your idea of concision prohibits the use of multi-syllable words, you might not like The Temple. And yes, when it comes to the idea of concise prose, I am very biased. After all, if I'm taking the time to read something, I want the author to have something to show me. I want them to paint me a picture of words. I want them to use their descriptions to transport me to another world of their making. Regardless, Lovecraft's prose is as present here as it is in any of his stories. But what fascinates me about The Temple is the strong focus on the human character as opposed to the unknowable horror. It's clear what the inciting incident and cause are, but what's fascinating is how they are all addressed or perhaps dismissed by our protagonist. Reading through the story for the first and even second time, I wondered if the captain was driven mad by the magic, or perhaps he was always deranged in a way. And to me, that's another point that makes this an excellent character study in the cosmic horror genre. In fact, this might be something of a hybrid story, as it combines both cosmic and deep psychological horror into one excellent package. With all that said, I highly recommend you give it a read, or hell, maybe listen to the audio reading I made for it. Link should be in the descriptions. Thank you so much for listening to this retrospective rant, and have a good one.